All right, let's do a little draft here. General managers you would want to be in the 2024 offseason. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Sure.
Off you go.
Okay.
I'll give you the first pick. We don't have a trivia question, so you get to pick.
Well, I mean, it's hard for me not to look at the Chicago Bears right now and make that the first pick. I mean, they got pick 1, they got pick 9, right? Let me just try to get to the rest of their picks here. Then they don't have a second round pick, right? But they got pick 75. But I think I add that, like pick 1, pick 9, the excitement of, whoa, we're going to have Caleb Williams here to be our starting quarterback. That's right. That's definite. It's going to happen, everybody, right? I think when I look at that and then, hey, number 9, are we going to couple it with a receiver? Are we going to go defense and a pass rusher? How's that going to work? But I think you throw that little possibility on right there and then add on that, hey, we've been talking about the cap. They're one of the teams towards the top of the NFL with cap space. So I think they're around 4 or 5, somewhere there. 5. They got almost $60 million in money to spend as far as that's concerned. So I look at that and go, damn, yeah, I would love to be Ryan Poles in the GM for the Chicago Bears right now.
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, you got Caleb Williams walking through the door. It makes it a lot easier to put a team around him. Yep. Also, the Bears, if they want to make a splurge in free agency, they are 5th on the list with $57.5 million in cap space in advance of next week. I'd want to be Nick Caserio because I got $70 million to spend, and I already got my franchise quarterback, and I got a guy who should have been coach of the year in DeMeco Ryans. I'm good to go. I'm ready to go. I'm gonna target positions to upgrade the team, but I can do everything with the knowledge that I got my quarterback situation completely and totally under control. The big challenge they have in Houston this year is grooming a successor to Bobby Slowick, because if they have the kind of year that they did last year, he'll be gone in 2025. That's their biggest worry. I guess that's a good problem to have, because I got $70 million in cap space, and I'm going to go out and make this team better in a division that still isn't Murderer's Row in the AFC.
No.
The Texans are in a position to really it's almost pressure. It's almost too good. It's almost set up too well. Maybe I'm rethinking this. You can't operate under radar as Nick Caserio this year. The expectation is they're going to take what they did last year and go next level, and it's on him to spend that money right, make the right picks. They still have a first-round pick from the Browns for the Deshaun Watson trade, 23rd overall. So they can really make that team better, and it's on Caserio to do it.
Yeah, let's make sure that they got the pick 24 from Cleveland. Right. That's
23.
23, excuse me, from that still with the Deshaun Watson, of course, lost, one of their original pick with making a trade and having this 2 and 3 pick last year in last year's draft. I hear you there. I mean, hey, it'd be exciting to be the GM of the Houston Texans, like you talked about. Money to spend, got the quarterback, and the quarterback's going to be a great recruiting tool, right? Just like we always talk about. I mean, we saw rookies at the Combine and people there. We saw people at the Super Bowl. C.J. Stroud is on the verge of becoming a household name, and he's on the verge of being like kind of that next guy that the young kids gravitate towards. And I think players around football look at him and go, ooh, he's special. Ooh, when he throws the ball, it kind of looks like the special quarterbacks in football. And I think that guys are going to want to go there because of C.J. Stroud and the effect that he has there. So I'm with you. My next one, we're all along the same lines here, but the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals, one good cap space, north of $50 million. We know that, right? They do have their quarterback. And I think the big thing is, and we talked about this a lot last year, they pushed everything into this year anyways. It's all about this year. So not only money, right, but the draft picks are what are truly amazing, right? I'm just trying to get this right. They got 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. They got pick 4. They got pick 27. They turn around and have pick 35. And then they have pick 66 and pick 71, right? So they are going to be able to get some difference-making type of football players on day 1 and day 2 of the draft that is going to dramatically change how we view and look at the Arizona Cardinals, let alone, hey, right, I'm excited about the coaching and what we saw in Arizona, and I'm a believer in Monty Austin for it, right? I am. I know his eye for football, and I know his process is thorough and detailed, and I think he's a guy that can, strike gold here this offseason and totally change the way we think about the Arizona Cardinals.
I will go with Adam Peters of the Washington Commanders next. When you look at everything they have lined up, first of all, still low expectations in the aftermath of the Dan Snyder exile, although there's just kind of a sense of preliminary restlessness. Like, all right, you get your grace period. You got your year, Josh Harris, to, we're just happy. We're just happy Dan's gone. Now let's see what you can do, given that you've had a chance to hire a new GM and a new head coach. But you're looking at $96 million in cap space. They have the second overall pick in the draft. They're getting Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
Most likely Jaden Daniels. They've got 2 second-round picks because of the Montez Sweat trade. They've got 2 third-round picks because of the Chase Young trade. I mean, they got 36 and 40. On top of second overall, they got 36 and 40. So you can get a lot of great young talent, cheap rookie wage scale talent, and you can spend or you can hold. That's the other thing, too. It used to be, Chris, back in the old days, in my day.
Yeah.
No, but in the early days of the CBA with the salary cap and free agency, it was a lot harder to manage a cap. It was a lot harder to move cap dollars from one year to the next. One of the other devices, we talked earlier about likely to be earned and not likely to be earned incentives. One of the ways that you would kick cap space would be to get a guy to agree to take some of his salary this year as a not likely to be earned incentive. Kind of what the Bills might have done and likely did do with Von Miller.
Right.
You kick money that's a no-brainer. You roll out of bed in the morning and you get the money. You kick it to next year. Sometimes they'd say, no, I'm not going to do it. Now, and this happened, I'd say with the latest CBA, or not the latest one, the 2011 one, you freely can move your excess cap space from one year to the next. It doesn't disappear forever. So you're pushing $100 million in Washington. Don't have to spend it all this year.
Yeah,
You've got this treasure chest that you can keep moving into future years and maybe, lay the foundation now for the eventual contract you have to give to Jaden Daniels after his first 3 years in the NFL.
Yeah, I hear you there. And that's a part of the game. Certainly, is balancing the checkbook that way and kind of seeing the future for, oh, wait, this is a year we have to sign this guy or do that, and being able to kind of put it all together and make sense for your football team. That's what the good ones do that, right? We know that. They can forecast, wait, hey, 2-3 years down the road, we got to pay this guy. We're going to want to pay this guy. Okay, let's finagle these contracts we're doing right now to where they don't get a big chunk of money that year because we're worried about giving a chunk of money to somebody else. Huge part of the game, and that's why, cap space guys that know the cap formula have become extremely expensive entities inside of an organization because of their ability to figure that stuff out and how to move the money around and do that. We know that. That's a special part of the NFL right now. I mean, you get competitive advantages if you got the right guys to do the right things there in that situation. So I hear you there, certainly. I think the last one, and I hate to be a prisoner towards the top of the draft a little bit, but, I mean, come on, it is what it is. The New England Patriots at pick 3. I know it's not a ton of picks, ton of money, right? I thought I saw they were close to $100 million in cap space, right? After some of the
78.
Yeah, I know. Not all weekend. I thought it's like the Boston media and stuff that I was reading up there when they made a few moves that they'd had like $100 million in cap space, but maybe I'm not remembering correctly. Either way, what I like about the Patriots and where they are, one, the money, sure, great, but pick number 3. Yeah, you're not going to get Caleb Williams. You're not going to get Jaden Daniels. Those two teams are going to run to the podium and hand it in. It's going to be Caleb. Washington's going to run to the podium and go, here's Jaden, and the jig is up. Sorry, NFL. We all know who the first 2 picks are. But pick number 3, I don't know who that's going to be. And the Patriots are sitting there, like you talked about a little earlier, with kind of a spot where, hey, they got money. They could sign a Band-Aid free agent quarterback if they want. They could sit there and take, oh, wait, hey, this is a year where there's 5 first-round quarterbacks. They could wait, and go, hey, we're going to pick 1 at 3. They might look at the value and things and go, whoa, wait, we could now, hey, we're pick number 3. Ooh, right. We like quarterback 3, 4, and 5 on our board, right? So, Atlanta Falcons, you want to give us all this to trade up to number 3 to get the next best guy on your board? Sure, and they can move down. So they got a spot right now where I do think teams are going to look at it and go, wow, right? Like, we're not going to get Caleb. We know that. Jaden we might not get, but we like this guy. And we don't want to roll the dice on waiting and maybe he'll fall to us. We better call the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots and see if we can make some magic happen. So I'll pick them.
See, what I'm influenced by
in
making these assessments is a combination of how good is your team now, like with the Texans. I already got my quarterback.
Yeah, I got you.
How good is the team now?
Right.
How am I looking in the draft? And how much cap space do I have? And it's kind of the three of them come together. And, I look at the Lions for my last one. Brad Holmes, look at the great job he's done. I don't think I'd want to be the GM because just let Brad Holmes keep doing what he's doing. I think he's doing a fine job. You don't need anybody else to be doing that job other than Brad Holmes right now. They've got $50 million plus in cap space. They've got a great team. They've got some holes they need to fill, but they're an attractive team now. This is an area where I think the Lions, for the first time ever, can win the jump balls in free agency. If things are close, guys out there, you had that magical run. There's this great vibe about Detroit. Guys are going to go there.
Dan Campbell got an A+ on the NFLPA thing.
Yeah. The guys that they want, that's the thing. They're getting to the point, like the Patriots of 20 years ago.
Right.
You're going to be able to get the guys you want for less. That's what they're creating in Detroit. We know who we want. We're a magnet for guys like that. They're not going to worry about squeezing an extra $1 million out of this because they want to come here. That vibe makes it a lot easier to do your job as a GM. So I've sold myself on Brad Holmes and the Lions because I think it's just easier to go out and get free agents now. And you may be able to get them cheaper. And you go out and get the guys and that's the ultimate litmus test. You take what we offer to come be part of this. If you want more, fine. You're not part of this.
Right.
We want people who want to be part of this. We want volunteers, not hostages. We want guys who want to be here and want to show grit and bite kneecaps and be tough. I do have to say this, though, before we wrap up the draft.
Yeah.
Our good friend Bobby, who is the unofficial head of the PFTP on Posse, says, I hope one of you takes Jerry Jones because he's the owner also, and I would prefer to be a multi-billionaire of the most valuable sports franchise in the world. So I guess if we could just drop into a spot
GM,
that
maybe it would be him, right?
I don't know that I'd want to drop into a body that's on the wrong side of 80 because I want to be around a little longer. But so I don't want to do the full movie premise that comes up every 10 years where 2 people switch bodies, which it's like, hey, it's time to press the let's have 2 people switch bodies formula for a movie. Okay, sold. I don't want to do that, but I would take the team. If being the GM of the Cowboys also gave me the pink slip to the team, then, it's hard to say no to that.
Yeah, I hear you there. I hear you, right? And, it's always interesting with Dallas and Jerry Jones and, the owner, the GM. He's the king. We know that. So it would be cool to be him. But he's got some work to do, as we know. They need to make
He's all in.
Yeah,
he's all in.
They need to strike it with the draft here. They do. We know they got some holes. They got some guys that are getting up there in age where you're like, they're going to have to be replaced here in the next year or two, just like Tyron Smith. Here we are, their left tackle conversation. That's coming out in Dallas. Hey, and to your point with the Lions pick, right? And I like your angle of kind of going with some of those guys, right? And I was kind of the top of the pick, top of the draft type of guy. But the Green Bay Packers were another team I wrote on my list, right? Just a little bit because of same thing you kind of talked about. Teams kind of set, right? They like the quarterback. They're excited about him. And if I got this right, they got, I think, 5 picks in the top 91. They got pick 25, 41, and 58, right? That's, hey, you got 3 players in the top 58. You got a chance again to a team that I look at and go, whoa, there's not many holes, right? And they got a lot of young talent that's just about to kind of hit their prime or getting close to it. And now you add another influx of young guys and talent there, I feel bad. I got on Brian Gutekunst a lot, for the Aaron Rodgers and how they handled that situation. I do.
I know. I saw him walk by our set.
Oh, he doesn't want nothing to do with us. He wants nothing to do with us anymore. I do feel bad, but I will say that, I got mad respect for him. And, hey, he's having the last laugh of how Jordan Love looked, last year. And he has built a damn good team there right now. And they got something going, and it's like we talk about, the damn NFC North. You look at those rosters, and you start to go, whoa, holy crap, are these teams, close to complete or got a lot of potential and all of that. And Green Bay is certainly one of those teams in the NFL.
And I will say this as it relates to the relationship with the Packers. Speak for yourself, because I'm making inroads now that Aaron's gone. I'm making inroads with the Green Bay Packers. I'm making inroads by putting Matt LaFleur as number 3 on my ballot for the AP NFL Coach of the Year award. They're aware of that. I'm making some inroads. Now, LaFleur wasn't there, but still, removing my nemesis from the equation makes it easier to get along with the people in Green Bay. So we're kind of, it used to be you here and I'm here, and now we're kind of moving this way.
Yeah, right.
One last point about the Cowboys. Yeah. This is hilarious, too.
What?
This was a tweet. And I gotta give this guy respect. This guy named Patrick Walker, who actually works for the Cowboys, tweeted yesterday, the Cowboys signed nose tackle Carl Davis to the roster just ahead of 2024 NFL free agency. All in. Hey, you got a lot of guts there.
Yeah.
I gotta hand it to you, Spider. You got a lot of guts. What's Jerry gonna do about that, Jerry?
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't shoot you like Spider has. Spider got shot, so be careful.
But that's this all-in thing. And again, the rest of us are like just trying to figure out how to play chess when we should be playing checkers. Jerry's doing 4D chess. This whole all-in thing becomes this basis for ridicule that he welcomes. Because you know what? We're talking about the Cowboys. That's all he wants. Each and every year it gets a little harder to keep the Cowboys as the team that we all talk about all the time. And we're talking about them. And we'll keep talking about them. We're not going to talk about them next segment, though. Next segment, we're going to talk about the Browns, and specifically Joe Flacco. Will he return to Cleveland? What are the factors at play here? Does he want to go? Yes. Does the team want him? We don't know. We'll talk about that next here on PFT Live. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.